All right. I'll just jump in, Andy, and make a start.
Fantastic. Go for it.
So, welcome Australia to part two of our Save Our Summits Access Australia series. Part two, we're going to be looking at the winners of the Save Our Summits Australia Day photo competition. So we're going to go through all the entries, and then at the end of this, we're going to announce the winners. So with no further ado, let's get into it. So first entry. So this one from Abby Begetta. And Abby wrote on our Facebook page, Happy Australia Day from Nicola and Abby. So they were at the Lake Barron Lookout doing a 20k hike, enjoying places of awe and wonder. And like a lot of entries, we've got some flags and we've also got some Lamingtons. So fantastic effort. Thank you, Abby, for sending that one in. Just of note, if you're in the Sunshine Coast area, Abby runs a group called Moving Forward Sunshine Coast. Website's there on the bottom of the screen, so mfwdsc.com. And their next event is on Saturday the 8th of March. So if you're in that Maroochydore area, check it out. So coming up with our next entry, this one from Chris Eccleston. Now, we did have some conditions associated with it. You know, we were looking for photos from summits in particular, but Chris sent this one in, a lovely shot of the Gold Coast skyscrapers with some nice ocean in the foreground. He sort of said, yeah, sorry, it's not a summit, and he forgot to put an Australia Day flag in, but he sort of popped in with a beautiful little Australia Day logo. So thanks for that one, Chris. That area around the Burleigh Head National Park looks pretty awesome. So fantastic spot to be enjoying Australia Day. Thank you, Chris, for that one. This entry from Victoria. So we were looking how you got to the summit didn't matter. So you could ride a bike, you could walk, you could fly a plane. Daryl Morgan decided to drive a four-wheel drive. So this is a photo. Australia Day at the top of Blue Rag. So Blue Rag track, it's a remote and apparently challenging four-wheel drive track in the high country in Victoria, known for its steep climbs, etc. And looks like you can get some fantastic views from the top of there at Blue Rag Range Trig Point. So thanks for sending that one in, Daryl. Tick the boxes with the flag and you're at the top of the mountain. So fantastic. Next one is from Gary Hutchins. I was particularly impressed with the number of flags in this photo. So Gary sent this in saying, Happy Australia Day. Yesterday we went up to the summit of Mount Cordeaux, and I've just got to move my little screen that's blocking the text, over to Bear Rock. So I can't remember if Gary wrote this, but I was looking at adding a bit of context to where these places are, because these are places I really want to get to and visit. I haven't been to the top of Mount Cordeaux, but it looks like a fantastic walk to get to.
Yeah, I've had a look at it, and you've got to know the way up. I tried my damnedest to get to the top of that, and it's a no-go area.
Right.
They closed it off years ago, so there's no markings on exactly where to go. So, yeah, big tick. Thanks, Gary. I'd like to have a chat to you about that one.
We'll get onto that towards the end, I reckon. Yeah, so it's certainly on my to-do list now, that one. And 4 Australian flags. Just to zoom into those happy faces, 4 Aussie flags. This one's, you know, ticking all the boxes that we were looking for our competition. So thanks, Gary, for that one. Moving on to another entry. So Igor Husek, so great friend of Save Our Summits, sent this one in from the Pinnacles Lookout. I think this is the one in New South Wales, Andy, that's right? You just muted yourself.
Yeah, I believe that looks east towards Mount Warning.
Yeah. One of the features, a lot of these photos, it looks to have been very overcast in northern New South Wales, southeast Queensland on Australia Day. So lots of grey, cloudy skies, but a great photo from Igor, ticking the boxes with the Aussie flag at the top of a mountain peak. So thanks, Igor. This one in from Jackie and Rusty at Page's Pinnacle, and again, I haven't been to this one, and it looks like a fantastic walk. Have you done this one, Andy?
I haven't. No. Yeah, I must do that.
So
it's good for it.
It's apparently rhyolite, another rhyolite plug. So part of that series of volcanic plugs that forms one of the Glasshouse Mountains and also bits and pieces of Mount Warning. So from a geological perspective, you're just intrigued to see how this rhyolite's got there as well. And some great photos there, stunning scenery in the background and some clear skies. So again, I really like these photos.
Yeah, so do I.
The next one. Oh, that's just a bit of a detail, that one of Jackie and Rusty at Page's Pinnacle. So yeah, love these photos.
That's quite an exposed sort of ridge out, isn't it, Jackie? Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's a very like steep.
Razor.
Yeah, they call it Razorback. So
yeah. And did you? I believe that looks towards Mount Warning as well. Did you get views of Mount Warning? Is that? I'm in the right place?
Yes, you are. That's taken sort of looking up towards north. The other photo where Jackie's on the ridge, that's looking back towards Mount Warning and Springbrook National Park.
Nice. Oh, you got to take me there.
just for viewers, we've got some special guests in, and you'll realise why they're special in a minute. This one, so Facebook page, Max Murphy, who is also a great friend of Save Our Summits and also the Reopen Mount Warning Facebook group. If you haven't heard of Max, so Max was one of the lead rangers in National Parks Rangers in northern New South Wales through the 1990s. And he was critical in clearing the track, putting in a new chain, some new lookouts, improving the lookouts in the 1990s. And Max is a great supporter of keeping Mount Warning reopen. And he just sent this note in on Australia Day to all those making the climb to Mount Warning summit today. Enjoy this sacred day. So thanks, Max, and thanks for your ongoing support if you're watching this. Really appreciate the work that you're doing, the work that you did at Mount Warning. And so thank you very much. Unfortunately, it's a little bit old to be eligible for this contest, but great photo of Max at the summit of Mount Warning. Hang on. Here we go. Next up, this extraordinary photo from Natalie Yates, just really flying the Australian flag proudly as she's sort of canyoning in Branch Creek. Stunning photo. Good effort not to get completely soaked, I suppose, although it's pretty wet there, Andy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a creek line that is absolutely spectacular. I haven't been there yet, but that's definitely a bucket list. It's out the back of Woodford. Yeah, maybe next time you're up this way, Mark, we'll go and have a look.
Sounds good. So there's some established anchors along the creek, are there?
This one's all natural anchors.
Okay.
The falls aren't particularly big, and you can walk around the falls, but yeah, it's a bit of a bush bash. But yeah, abseiling is a better option. So yeah.
Great photo. Love the flag in the background there. That's fantastic. It's sitting in the backpack. Yeah,
I've crossed Natalie's path a few times. She's a very adventurous lady. She's had some rough times, some rough patches, and she's bounced right back, and it's great to see her out there.
Absolutely. This one here, Natalie Kent McCormack, Lamingtons of Lamington National Park. You know, you couldn't go any better on Australia Day. With the cup of tea as well. I love the cup of tea between the legs there, just sort of perched between the legs of a Lamington. And I'm guessing she's dunking a Lamington in the tea. I don't know how that goes. I often dunk my Tim Tams, but dumping Lamingtons, not sure about that one. Stunning view though there. That's an awesome view across the...
that whole Border Ranges area. I've still got a lot to see down there. It's a magnificent part of the world.
Really spoiled, you know, and this is what gets me upset, you know, the idea that people, you know, because this could easily be, you know, closed as easy as Mount Warning, you know, this is just the sign off from some bureaucrat over some random decision about, you know, some misplaced and misinformed
absolutely
plan, and suddenly it's gone, you know.
Yep, and there's a number of canyons. I can't be specific, but I think I've heard of one or two that have been closed for no real good reason in that area. Similar sort of stuff to what you just saw Natalie doing before. But it's happening.
So this next one, I think this is the group that Natalie was part of. So this one's sent in by Peps Marie McCulloch. So there's 6 lovely ladies there. The most Australian flags of any of the photos I think we've got. I think I count, hang on, I'll count them again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, at least 18 Australian flags. So these guys obviously had a good time up at the top of Lamington and eating a lamington. I love the little flag there too. Keep calm and eat a lamington. Fantastic. If only National Park staff would do that rather than close tracks. Yeah, so thanks, Peps Marie McCulloch, for sending that one in. This was a comment on the Facebook page. Sorry, I'll go back up again. From Peter Ronan. Peter Ronan, another long-term friend of the Reopen Mount Warning Facebook group and Save Our Summits. Peter said he couldn't make a summit today, but this is a photo that he took last year. So for those who don't know, last year Save Our Summits went up to the top of Mount Warning in 2024. Quite a big group of people, including the Narrukwal traditional owner, Sturt Boyd. So it was a very special moment for Sturt to climb the mountain with us. He actually sang his grandmother's song up there about the mountains. So it was a very special moment for him to watch the sunrise come through. And a special moment for Save Our Summits and the Reopen Mount Warning Facebook group as well, just to be there with him and to experience that first sunrise on Australia Day with Sturt Boyd. So thanks, Sturt, again for your efforts in trying to reopen the mountain that you really are the traditional custodian of.
And you can relive that song and that moment on our Save Our Summits YouTube channel if you go and do a search for it. It's pretty special.
Absolutely. So Peter, sorry it was taken last year. So that one, that would probably be a winner for me, but unfortunately it's last year. Another stunning creek photo. So we had the idea of, with behind the photo competition, really, it was about summits, but then we realised, well, we really want to emphasise and showcase everything about our beautiful natural Australian landscape. So we sort of opened it up to landscape photos. This is a great one from Rebecca Archer Anderson, and I'm guessing she was probably with Natalie Yates, because they're, it's Branch Creek again. This is the biggest Australian flag that was entered. That's a huge flag. Unless Rebecca's a very short woman, but I don't think so. Stunning photo. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
All right. One more. So Robin Walks entered this one. I asked her where she took the photo, and she said it was on private property, I guess somewhere around that southeast Queensland area, but she wouldn't reveal it to me. So, but great to see a reddish cattle dog cross in a photo on Australia Day. So Robin's got an Australia Day flag on a cap, and probably one of the most Australian dogs you can get, I reckon.
Very
so
good.
Great. Thanks for sending that one in, Robin.
Yep.
Centre of action really at the moment for Save Our Summits. We're really focusing in the next coming months on doing some work in the Glasshouse Mountains, just to really reinforce the fact that they are so special to Australians. And at the end of this presentation, we'll show you some work we've been doing with a new drone that the SOS have got. So Vanessa Jones, I'm guessing, and is this the Glasshouse Mountains lookout?
I think so. I actually not certain of that view.
It's Tibro, isn't it, in the background?
I think it's Tibro.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I think that is on the Yanman track. It's a lookout between Mount Beerburrum and Tibrogargan. I'm pretty sure that's where it is. A nice track. It's probably look, it's a round trip, about 20 k's. But yeah, lots of really nice rock and yeah. Yep.
Thanks, Vanessa, for sitting that one in. Just to finish, I think just a couple of efforts from our
that's a winner. You can't win.
We aren't eligible, but we wanted to sort of get out there and have a go ourselves. So I spent Australia Day in Canberra. On Boxing Day, my wife had an accident and ended up sort of breaking a bone in her ankle and in her shoulder. So I've been acting as nurse for the last sort of 6 weeks or so, and she annually goes down to Canberra to do a board gaming thing each year. And while she's doing that, I generally go bushwalking. So I took a couple of days. I went down the Oral Valley, which was a bit of I took my mountain bike with me, so I did some mountain biking on some of the fire trails and ended up on the top of this ridge above the Oral Valley in the Namadgi National Park. And then Australia Day itself, I spent the day up at Barumba Rocks, which is a beautiful exposed area of granite around about a 45-minute drive south of Canberra, just in that Namadgi National Park area. On the way into some of the old, the Apollo Road, if anyone knows the ACT at all. So absolutely stunning scenery up there. It's been devastated by the bushfires in 2022, and there's a lot of regrowth going through the bush there, which I sort of paid for by wearing shorts as I was walking through some of the stuff. But fantastic spot and highly recommend it. One of the odd things I found out in the ACT was that there doesn't seem to be many track or trail closures or bans, and I think it's got to do with the fact that the public servants down there who like bushwalking are really looking after themselves. So I think if they ended up with a ban on bushwalking to some of these beautiful spots in the ACT, that may change things around a little bit in terms of the government getting a bit more proactive in stopping this sort of thing happening. But
the Canberra would have been covered in Australian flags on Australia Day, would it?
Dead silence on this end. It was pretty disappointing. I mean,
really,
I had my flag. There was a flag flying above Parliament House, and the city centre area, the main bridge that goes across Lake Burley Griffin. They didn't have any Australian flags on that. They're advertising this Pompeii exhibition in the National Museum. We actually went to the Pompeii exhibition while we were there, and there wasn't any Australian flags at the National Museum. So yeah, a bit disappointed with patriotic fervour on Australia Day in our nation's capital, but I don't think we expect much better at the moment. And Andy, you posted this beautiful video of Mount Beerwah. You went up there for the sunrise. And I just took this snapshot out of the video and put it in there, so you can talk about this one.
So
your Australia Day, what you did?
My Australia Day was started at about 2:30 in the morning to get to the top of this one by sunrise, and on the Friday I'd taken possession of the SOS drone, so totally new at flying a drone, never done it before. So I carried the drone to the top of this with this wonderful group of people, and my plan was to get there before them and just capture this big group coming up this hill. I'd had about 2 batteries worth of flight time at home. I put the drone in the air, and then I lost it, and then I crashed it, and then I went searching for it. Has this wonderful Find Me feature. Fortunately, I found it within about 20 meters of the cliff edge at the top of Mount Beerwah. So I retrieved it, and the group arrived on top, and one of them was a drone pilot, and I handed the drone to Edwin and said, "What do you think? Is it okay?" And he said, "Yeah, let's put it up." So we put it up, and it was all good, and I got a couple of photos. Yeah. So it's pretty exciting. A $2,000 drone that was less than 2 days old was nearly gone.
That sort of happened to me when I first launched my drone as well. And I crashed it I was in New Zealand, tried to land it on this dry stone wall, and ended up just sitting on it with 3 legs, fell 3 meters onto the beach,
Oh, wow.
A couple of the propellers bounced off it, but yeah, it wasn't major damage. But I think everyone tends to stay
So the following week, I did lots of practice, and then I took it up there again the following Wednesday, and I think we're going to show that video.
Show
So
the
yeah,
results. Yeah, it's stunning. Amazing how quickly you've learnt how to use the thing. All right, back to the. Right. Okay. So
here we are.
They were the entries that we had. So for a contest that had a first prize of $1,000, I must admit, I was expecting a little bit more action in terms of the number of entries. So, and it's probably due to poor marketing on our part, and perhaps still a little bit of a reluctance around the place about actually, showing the Australian flag on Australia Day. So we'll take that into account if we do something like this again. So thank you to everyone who entered. If you thought about entering it, you would have had a great opportunity to have a great chance of winning some big money. So let's get on to the winners. Here we go. Here we go. Drum roll. Okay, so the winner of the $1,000 is Jackie Stoker. And we are lucky to have Jackie with us. And Rusty, is it?
Yes.
All right. So I was going to ask you a couple of things. One, why you picked Page's Pinnacle, and secondly, why is that place special to you, and why do you think we should, keep going to these summits around Australia, Jackie?
Look, Rusty introduced Page's Pinnacle to me a couple of years ago, and it was just fascinating. Just loved the scramble. We got up there. It was just like the view's fantastic, and we've done it many times, taken family and friends up there, and it's just an enjoyable climb for us. So
how long's the actual walk? Is it?
Oh, an hour and a half, maybe an hour.
If it goes the short route, it's about an hour and a half. But if you go around the base of the mountain, it's probably around the 3 hour mark.
Okay.
And is there a section up there that's been closed off that you're not supposed to go to, or is that another pinnacle? An old track. Yeah, sorry.
We've got a sign up there saying that not to sort of head up on the mountain due to safety reasons. There's a lot of abseilers and cliff climbers that use the northern face, so they try to discourage people going that direction. But coming from the top and down across the ridge, it's quite accessible.
Yeah, looks spectacular.
Yeah, it is. It's great. Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the. There's two volcanic plugs in the area, which is in Nunabar Valley.
Yep.
That one, Page's Pinnacle, and Egg Rock, which has been closed for a number of years because of cultural reasons. And it too is an excellent climb.
Okay. We'll put that one on. That's certainly one I want to do now, Page's Pinnacle. So congratulations again, Jackie. Thank you so much for putting those photos in. They're absolutely fantastic. You ticked all the boxes there. You've got your flag summit and a beautiful blue sky in the background. I think that was the difference between yours and our runner-up. So our runner-up was Gary Hutchins. So congratulations. And Gary's also joined us on the podcast.
Hello. Can everyone see me?
Yep, we gotcha.
Yep. So, Gary, fantastic photo. Beautiful, 4 amazing Australian flags at the top of this amazing, what looks to be an amazing summit. But just the grey sky in the background for me was just, very close between the two winners. So, congratulations on the $500.
Thank you very much.
And again,
disappointing.
Just tell us a bit about the walk you did and why it's so special to you, or
I really love Mount Cordo. We've done it a few times. It's up on the top of Cunningham's Gap on the way to Warwick from Brisbane. It's pretty easy, easier than our favourite mountain that we're not allowed to climb anymore. But no, we love it, and that group of the 4 of us there, we've done quite a few mountains. We've done Kilimanjaro, and we've done Kokoda and Papua New Guinea, and another dangerous one in Papua New Guinea, and a few others. But we all love climbing together, and it's a nice walk. Just a shame about the day; it was just clouded in.
It's like a great spot to go.
You mentioned
just going with a group too. And part of this is about, making friends and forming those bonds that sort of, keep you through and help you through the rest of your life, really.
Absolutely.
And that's part of what, they've destroyed at Mount Warning. There's generations of people who can't climb that mountain who have been, locked out of that experience. So
yeah,
exactly.
I took my 8-year-old daughter up there the year they closed it, and I'm so happy I did. So, but no, we took 4 flags up, and smallest guy in our group got the smallest flag, and it was just purely by chance, but it's quite a funny story actually.
Yeah.
So.
Again, great photo. So thanks for entering. Congratulations on the runner-up award.
Thanks, Mark.
I'll just go into our consolation prizes then. So pretty much everyone else who entered. So again, everyone else who entered gets a T-shirt, an SOS T-shirt, and a copy of my book, A Guide to Climbing Mount Warning. So we'll be in touch with our consolation prize winners towards the end of this week. So we'll just, need to get your address and details about a T-shirt size, so we can send those out to you in the next couple of weeks. Thank you, all of you, for entering. And yeah, I must admit, Andy, I was a little bit disappointed with the number of entries we got. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I guess we probably should have promoted it more with paid Facebook. I don't know, honestly. It wasn't shared a great deal reshared across many big bushwalking sites, because a lot of them just don't want to be considered political in any way. But yeah.
Yeah, we do have that problem, don't we? So SOS, we post on quite a few bushwalking sites. I've posted this onto the Bushwalking Australia forum. Said, this is a competition for Australia Day. They've got a special bit of their forum that deals with photo competitions. And my entry for that was actually removed from there and put in advertising, which no one looks at, Or because it's got this slight bit of controversy around it, the idea that, we can't celebrate Australia Day anymore. We can't wave our flag. It's just nuts. So we're facing, that's I think it's part of the idea, which we're doing our best to market ourselves and do this stuff, but we're running into these barriers all the time. So, we'll see how we go with next year. So the reason we did the photo competition this year was for another bureaucratic hiccup. So we had planned to do a Australia Day barbecue in the Mount Viewer car park. And we thought we'll do the right thing, so we applied to Queensland National Parks for permission to run that event. And again, they denied us permission, nominally on the grounds that there wasn't enough car parking space, and we would have put pressure on the toilets. They were among the chief reasons given, although there was an undercurrent of, look, if you want to do it any other day, you'll probably get permission fairly easily. But Australia Day had this hoodoo associated with it with Queensland National Park. So, we'll see what we do next year for Australia Day. But look, thanks, Jackie and Gary for entering. I hope you spend your money well. I reckon it was an easy win for both of you, so well done. And thanks
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Thanks, Mark.
And thanks, guys, for all your promotion and all your sharing. I know I see all your names regularly on the sites. And yeah, I mean, we just all keep plugging away at it. I think we're chipping away. I think things are changing, but yeah, your hard work is really appreciated, especially yours, Mr. Hendricks.
Absolutely, Mr. Hendricks.
Yeah.
We do our best. Okay, so that's the end of the prize photo competition announcements. I just wanted to go over what we're doing at SOS over the next sort of couple months or so. So one of the things that we should be getting soon. So back in January 2024, we submitted an FOI, a Freedom of Information request to Queensland National Parks about documents related to potential closure of public access to the summits of Mount Beerwah and Mount Tibrogargan. Now these FOIs, generally, I don't think they take as long as this one took. So this one took over 12 months to process. Can you believe that? 12 months to get these documents out. So we've been told that we're going to get access to about 600 documents related to this subject. And I got that email last week, and I'm still waiting on Queensland National Parks. Part of the release system is they send you a place to pay your money. So this is actually costing us around about nearly $1,400 to get this done. You know, these are public documents. So we paid for this work to start with as taxpayers, and now we've got to pay again to get access to it. So it just blows me away how bad the system is. So I'm just waiting for the email that says this is where you pay your money, and then we'll make those documents public, and everyone can see, you know, if there's anything in there that is of interest. I think, look, to me, part of the reason for the delay, you know, there's been a change of government in Queensland. It just allows them to say, look, yeah, that was back then, but we've changed government now, so everything's different. So all those documents are now relevant. I reckon that's the way. If there's anything bad in there, that's the way they're going to play it. So that's coming out hopefully next week. Just one thing to look out for in New South Wales. So between the 25th of February and the 12th of March, we've got the New South Wales budget estimates meetings. This is where the opposition and small parties can ask the government and senior bureaucrats questions about what's going on in their portfolios and ask them where the money's being spent and the rest of it. So the Libertarian Party, our dear friend John Ruddick, MLC, will hopefully be asking some questions about Mount Warning. What's the status of it? Where's it going? Is it true that, as it was outlined in some meeting minutes between the WCG and National Parks, that you're moving towards a Part 4A lease agreement for the park? A Part 4A lease agreement, if you don't know, is where they actually hand over freehold of the park to a local Aboriginal group. In this case, it would be the Wollumba Consultative Group, and don't get me started on how bad that would be. And the other questions will probably relate to what's happening in general. So the plan in New South Wales, and it's also happening in Victoria, is to hand over freehold for all the parks in the state. And the real danger in that is that once those plans are put in place, the public are effectively shut out of having any say about what goes on in the park. So John Ruddick will hopefully be getting some information about that. March 18, so part 3 of our Access Australia series, we're going to be talking with a fellow called Peter Smith. Now, Peter is part of a group called Access for All. There's a little sticker there, and I'll show you a bit of detail a bit further. So Access for All are one of the oldest groups in Australia fighting for public access to national parks. So I think it'll be an interesting conversation and a lot for us to learn from them in terms of their successes and their failures. Their main entry point was about getting access to some of the bridle tracks between Braidwood and Vigo and some of the national parks through there. So that's coming up on the 18th. A sad day on March 30. So March 30 is the 5-year anniversary of the Mount Warning temporary ban. How can you call that temporary? It's just completely ridiculous. Just encouraging anyone who can, March 30, if you want to, get a good view of the sunrise, or even just later in the day, there's a great place to look at it from the top of Mount Warning. We've got nothing planned at the moment in terms of any protest action up there on March 30. So we'll see about that down the track. It's closing fairly quickly, so we sort of, if we're going to do something, we've got to get onto that fairly quickly. Our planned Access Australia series part 4 is with a fellow called Tony Crook, who runs the Outside podcast, and I'll provide some more information about that closer to the date. I've got a function in May. This is looking a few months ahead now. This is a presentation for the English Speaking Union in Victoria. So they're running this event as part of the Heritage Month in Victoria. And So I'm doing a talk called A Time Traveller's Guide to Forbidden Places of Awe and Wonder in Australia. So I'm principally going to be talking about what's happened at Ayers Rock, at Mount Warning, looking towards the Grampians and Arapiles in Victoria. And the time traveller bit is a bit of two things in there. One, as a geologist, you get a bit of an insight into the past history of some of these beautiful landforms we're looking at. And geologists have this remarkable ability to not only look towards the past, but then to look towards the future in terms of how those landscapes develop. But then I'm also bringing in some of the forgotten and hidden history that hasn't been talked about at both Ayers Rock and Mount Warning. So that's coming up in May. We're also, as Andy mentioned, with this fantastic new drone, going to be looking at focusing on access in the Glasshouse Mountains as well. So what we want to do is basically do a fantastic video of each of those summit lookouts in the Glasshouse. So Andy's got some work ahead of him going up and down some hills. Keep you fit.
Learning how to fly.
So this is the promo for the part 3 of our Access for All. So that's the details there for Access for All. So Access for All, oneword.asn.au. So if you want to get on and have a look at what they've been doing, they've just got onto Facebook. Most of the group are in their 60s. They're a group really of horse riders, farmers around that Braidwood area. They've been doing some wonderful work in terms of reopening some of those bridle tracks, but they're really, their focus is to try and preserve and protect public access in our national parks. So that's going to be an interesting conversation. And just to close, so we'll let this run out. Andy, do you have any final comments on the competition or anything else?
No, I just wanted, just thank you. Let's do it again, make it bigger and better next Australia Day. Hopefully I might see some of you guys up on the mountain who shouldn't be named towards the end of March. We'll see how we go.
That sounds wonderful.
Thanks again, Russ and Gary, for joining us. And
thank you so much for having us.
No worries.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, I'm going to play this, Andy, and this will close us out.
Fantastic. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone, and we'll see you at the next one on the 18th of March.
Thanks, guys.